So the wonderful thing about Gordon Biersch and the beer we make here is that it's made on premise. It's fresh. It's beer at its pinnacle of perfection. We're not, packaging it and putting it out on the trade where it sits for forever and, goes stale. But we do have an option for people to take that beer to go. And it's a great option for all you servers and bartenders to sell for a multiplicity of reasons. First one being, it's going to make you more money because it really brings up the check average. But also it's a great marketing tool in that it's going to expose folks to our wonderful beer who may have never heard of it before. People take these growlers to parties, family gatherings, barbecues, whatever. People get to try the beer that never had it before, and they'll ask, where'd you get the beer? And oh, it's at Gordon Biersch. It's just, down the road a mile or two. The food's pretty spectacular also. On top of that, these tend to become little billboards. People take them home, they drink the beer, and they're like, well, where do I put this? And they put it on a shelf, in their kitchen, wherever, and it becomes a little sign. A week or two down the road, they're thinking, where should we go to dinner? Hey, how about Gordon Biersch? They remind people that we are here. So it helps build business. It's a great marketing tool. So the history of a growler, it seems like a funky name, actually goes back to the 19th century when people really weren't packaging yet. There wasn't the high technology for packaging, and so neighborhood taverns and bars and breweries would fill galvanized pails, put kind of these loose fitting lids on them, and they'd fill like 10 or 15 of them, put a long pole through the handles, and kids, of course, this is a long time ago, 100 plus years ago, would be on either end and carry these in the poles with this 10, 15 growlers into the factories. So you had to work 10, 12 hours a day plus, but at least you got beer at lunch, right? Anyhow, as the CO2 was escaping out of those loose fitting lids, they would kind of make a growling sound. So that's where the strange name comes from. Anyhow, at Gordon Biersch, we have two different styles. One is probably the package that you're most familiar with seeing at brewery restaurants and other craft breweries, and that's the more inexpensive, accessible package of the screw top growler. We also have the very fancy, imported from Germany, flip top growler, which makes an excellent gift. Both growlers, even though one looks much larger than the other, this is the 2 liter and this is a ½ gallon. When they're filled properly and the foam settles, they pretty much end up holding about 70 ounces. Now, a 6-pack is 72 ounces, so it's pretty much a 6-pack. And if you look at the price of a lot of 6-packs on the market right now, it can actually be a pretty decent value for folks, and they know they're getting beer at its peak. Oftentimes you go to a liquor store, who knows how long that beer has been sitting there. Anyhow, we really encourage folks to drink this beer if it's been filled at the bar, ideally within a couple days. It's probably good in a tightly sealed growler for several weeks. But once they open it, you really have to consume that beer same day, certainly by the next day. And then make sure that you want to let guests know after they drink the beer, they want to rinse the growler out, let it air dry. And next we're going to talk about how to fill these growlers, because it can be tricky, but luckily we have special faucets to make it easier.